for most it means an imaginary monster. But in the Caribbean nation of Haiti, this word means something real, a fate worse than death. In 1980, in a town of Lester, a man walked into a local market and greeted his sister. He was friendly, but the woman got very frightened. She knew for certain her brother, standing in front of her now, had died and been buried 18 years ago. In 1962, a 40-year-old man named Clairvius Narcisse arrived at the Albert Schweitzer Hospital in Deschapelles on the island of Hispaniola. He complained of fever, weakness, and a sharp pain in his chest. Doctors examined him but could not determine what was wrong. His breathing became shallow, his pulse faint, and his skin cold. 2 physicians observed him for hours as his condition worsened, checking repeatedly for signs of life. Eventually, they found none. Clairvius Narcisse was pronounced dead. His death was officially certified by an American doctor. His body was taken to the hospital morgue, where it remained for several hours before his sister arrived to identify him, and the following day he was buried. As far as the world knew, Clairvius Narcisse was dead. Yet 18 years later, he returned to the same village and described what happened. Death never came. Throughout his funeral, he remained conscious inside his body. He heard the crying of his relatives and the hammering of nails sealing the coffin lid above his face. One of those nails struck him in the cheek, leaving a scar that remained visible years later. He felt the coffin being lowered into the ground and heard the dull thuds of soil hitting the wood above him. All the while he was awake, but unable to move or call for help. Hours passed in darkness until, sometime during the night, he heard the sound of digging. The lid was pried open, and several men stood above the grave. They pulled him out of the coffin, forced a bitter paste into his mouth to bring back ability to move, and carried him away. He was taken to a remote plantation controlled by a Bokor, a voodoo sorcerer. In the fields, there were others like him. They moved slowly through the crops, harvesting day after day, their eyes empty, minds gone. Narcisse now was one of the zombies, workers who do not rebel, slaves who cannot escape. For years and years, he labored until the man controlling the plantation died. Only then did Narcisse begin to recover his awareness. Even after his mind returned, he remained away from his village for many years. He was afraid of his brother, who he believed hired the voodoo sorcerer. Narcisse lived a life that created enemies. He fathered several children but refused to accept responsibility for them. He withheld land and inheritance from relatives who expected it to be shared. in a close-knit rural community where survival depended on cooperation. Such behavior created deep resentment. It was a punishment. In a place where the living must work to survive, refusing one's duty might mean working after death. There are other stories passed quietly through rural Haiti about what happens when a zombie is allowed to remember. It was said that salt could break the spell, that a single taste could return the mind to the body. There are accounts of workers in the fields who were given salted food, sometimes by accident, sometimes by kindness. When they regained consciousness, many would return to their families, but some, remembering that they died and were buried, would go looking for their own graves and crawl back in the ground. In the early 1980s, Harvard-trained anthropologist Wade Davis investigated these stories. He traveled through Haiti searching for the poison said to be used to create zombies. After months of interviews with voodoo healers and sorcerers, he obtained several samples of what locals called zombie powders and brought them to laboratories for analysis. The results revealed traces of powerful neurotoxin found in puffer fish, the poison that mimics death. It keeps you awake, screaming behind a mask of paralyzed flesh, hearing the family and friends weep over your body. These mixtures also contained a plant called Jimson weed, which can produce delirium, confusion, and long-lasting psychological damage. It was chemical lobotomy. This research revealed something deeply unsettling, a real possibility that you may be poisoned.